Welcome, Pokemon players, to another episode of Discount Pokemon Decks. Today's deck is a Darkrai deck. It's not the expensive Darkrai. It's not the Dark Tina or anything like that. This is the Discount Darkrai, because of course we're the discount deck. And this Darkrai is a promo Darkrai, so that means it doesn't exist in any set. So let's talk about the cost of the deck first. This Darkrai goes for about 2 packs. You could probably get it for cheaper, maybe for 1 pack. You know, trading on public, you can. It's kind of hit or miss sometimes, but I think you can get it for 1. The other cost of this deck would be Mew. There's 3 Mews in this deck. It's a rare card, but you could get that for about 1 pack or less. So between these two, it's going to cost you 8 and 3, 11 packs. But Mew you're going to reuse, and you can use in lots of different decks. This Darkrai you can't, but still cheaper than an EX. So still cheaper than Darkrai EX. I think in one of my previous videos we looked at some of the prices of EXs, and they're pretty expensive. And the good part is, when you kill off this Darkrai, your opponent doesn't claim 2 prizes. So the cost of this deck should be pretty affordable. Yveltal is in this deck. This is an uncommon card, should be really easy to get. And the Yveltal and the Mew you will use in other decks. And everything else is pretty much a staple trainer that you'll just use over and over again. So this deck is pretty affordable comparatively. So if you're looking for a dark deck, this is a good one. The focal point of our deck is this Darkrai, and more specifically his attack, Abyssal Sleep. Your opponent's active Pokemon does 80 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Your opponent flips 2 coins instead of 1 between turns. If either of them is tails, that Pokemon is still asleep. So if you understand statistics, that means 3 out of 4 times, 75% of the time, when you attack with this Pokemon, if your opponent's relying on coin flips, he is not going to be able to attack back. So I think that's a pretty good odds. If you remember our Dugong deck, it's similar. There's only a slim chance that your opponent's going to attack. Same thing here. Unless he's got a switch or a rope or some other means to swap out his Pokemon, it's going to be asleep and he's not going to be able to do anything. So the idea with this deck is to face bigger EX decks, and it looks like that's the trend right now. It's about almost 2017. It's the end of 2016 while I'm recording this, and the trend seems to be lots of big decks, Darkrai, Yveltal, and this is kind of bucking that trend. So you should be able. You want to face the big decks. If you're playing a small deck that can do close to 100 damage by the second or third turn, this is not the deck to play against. But right now, I think with a lot of the decks that are out there, this is a good deck to play with. There's a lot of synergy in this deck. The main synergy is you can see this attack, Abyssal Sleep, requires 3 energy, and you can't cheat and use a double colorless. It's 2 dark and 1 colorless. So you need to get 3 energy on this guy before he can attack. So we need to get energy acceleration. The obvious one is Yveltal's Oblivion Wing, similar to Volcanion, like in our Delphox deck. If you're not familiar, you can check that out, or Carbink and some of the fighting decks we've done. This helps us get energy onto our Pokemon quicker. Unfortunately, we don't have Scorched Earth like we have with either of those decks. Scorched Earth allows you to discard an energy, so then you can use the attack to get the energy back on. We don't have that with Dark Energy. So it's a little bit of a disadvantage. This Oblivion Wing isn't as strong because of that fact. But we are going to do some things to try to get some of our energy in there. We do have Ultra Ball, which potentially we can throw some energy out. We have Sycamore, which will throw some energy out. We do have Acro Bike. I put Acro Bike in this deck because, hey, why not? Again, if we can get energy out, that's saving us a turn. It's making our setup quicker. So that is kind of one synergy there, is this Oblivion Wing with some of these things that discard energy. Of course, we have 12 energy, so there should be plenty. Should have plenty in our hand and plenty to discard. Other synergies we have in this deck is this Max Elixir. So we have 3 of them in our deck. It helps get energy on our bench Pokemon much quicker. We have 12 energy there, so there should be plenty in the top of the deck or near it when we are playing that. We are using Experience Share, and that's going to help us get the energy on this on our card here. We are using Energy Switch. So here's a kind of cool synergy. you can use experience share on any Pokemon, and that can rack up some. Sometimes when you use experience share, you notice that you get more energy than you need on that one Pokemon. Well, we can use Energy Switch to swap it over. So I kind of like that idea. There's another synergy between Switch and Energy Swap. So again, if we have too much energy on our active Pokemon, we can switch him out and then swap the energy onto the new guy. So there is a lot of synergy in this deck. There's not a lot of cards in opposition. Maybe a good one example of opposition is Switch and Mew. Mew retreats for free, so why do you have Switch in your deck? Those cards don't really go well together. Super Rod, we're using Yveltal's Oblivion Wing to get energy out of discard, and you have a Super Rod in there. Well, they can work against each other as well. But generally, this deck works well with itself. We're going to talk about the giveaway real quick. The giveaway is going to be, I'm going to give away 4 of these Darkrai. So listen out for the secret phrase, and you will get 4 Darkrai, 4 of these. So you'll be really close to getting this deck and setting it up and going forward with it. I think that's pretty much it. So let's get to the games right after this short break. All right, welcome back to game number 1. I actually started a game before this, but my opponent was taking a Snorlax amount of time to respond to anything, so it was getting a little boring. I'd even get past seeing what their deck was, seeing their Pokemon, so it was like 2 minutes and nothing had happened. All right, we're going to take a mulligan here, which is kind of odd. I think we have, 4, 8, 11 Pokemon, so all basic. One of the things, thinking about it, I do not have a Hex Ranger in this deck, so if we ever come across a Glaceon, it's an auto-resign. But if you find you do play this deck a lot, this can work. This can work in a couple different ways. You're going to be in a big trouble. But there's a lot of decks that you play against, and you're like, oh, look who's there! Nice! I haven't published my Sylveon deck yet, so this is a nice surprise. Look at that. Another Sylveon EX. All right, so we're going to see something here. I don't know if are they going to even attack with the Sylveon, or is this going to be Mega Gardevoir and Dragonite? All right, this is good. I'm trying to think for a second. I think I want the Mew on my bench. Well, let's play Random Receiver. Let's see what we get from that. As long as we don't get a Lysandre, we're fine. All right, I can Ultra Ball. We don't need the switch. So I'm thinking of retreating and saving my Mew. I don't, my opponent has a Garbodor. My Mew is going to go southward. Let me think for a second. I'm going to save the Mew. And I'm gonna, if I get 2 in there, let's get 2 energy in there. Why not? We're gonna put a Darkrai on our bench. And the cool thing about one of the reasons why I have Mew in this deck, it can copy the attacks of either one of our Pokemon. So I could put the energy on him and start doing Yveltal's attack, but I'd rather power up this Darkrai. And if I want to slow him down, maybe I can. He's got a Fighting Fury belt on this Sylveon. I have nothing better to do. Let's make him waste some resources. So you can't put a Float Stone on that. Let me think for a second. So it's going to do 70 damage. So let's not use that one. He's probably going to put one on Hoopa. Let's drag the Sylveon here. Let's start powering up. Who are we going to power up? We'll do Darkrai. Sure, why not? Darkrai. And the cool thing is, when you do have the 3 energies on Mew, and it could copy either Darkness Blade or Abyssal Sleep. So there's sometimes, the good thing about Mew also is a different color. So if you're playing Mega Mew, this is interesting. We're going to be close to being able to start attacking the Sylveon. So this should be interesting. We have this switch here. So look at this. We could play switch next turn and swap these two. But what I was saying is, the good thing about this is if you have a deck where if you're playing Mega Mew, this Mew hits Mega Mew for double because of the weakness, which is kind of nice. Alright, so my opponent powering up their Mega Gardevoir. Let's switch. You know what? We'll get 2 cards if we can knock out this Pokemon. So it has resistance. It's going to take us 3 turns. All right, that's good. Flip number 1, good. So you kind of see it's a 3 and 4 chance of our opponent not being able to attack. And if I had another switch, you know, maybe putting the Mew here when... Oh, that is beautiful. Putting the Mew here, because then I could have switched back to the Yveltal while this Sylveon's asleep. All right, not exactly what I'd like. Let me see. I might as well put the V-Seeker in my hand because I could use it to get the Sycamore. We're going to power up this Mew. Yeah, I'll probably play... Well, I probably won't play N next turn because it looks like they're stuck. So I'll bail them out. Alright, there we go. Asleep again. So unless they get a switch or a rope, this Pokemon will be dead next turn. We'll pick up 2 cards for it. And I'm not going to play the N because... Oh, there you go. Alright. Another option I have would be to Lysandre his Gardevoir. And start working on that, and then... No, because then he can use that to get rid of his attack to get rid of the Sylveon. So, we're going to attack. I can't switch or anything. Let's think. 30 damage. Why? If I switch and use Oblivion Wing, he's 1 energy away from attacking again. And my... Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to retreat. And I'll put Reverse Valley on. That is the right side, I hope. And we're going to attack here. No! Resistance. Oh, I may have just outplayed myself. So, there we go. I totally outplayed myself. This is going to hurt. Wow, what a mistake. So I thought it was 30. Oh, minus 20. Oh, I miscalculated. So it was 30. I thought it was 40 here. So... If he puts an energy on this, or gets his stadium, she, I should say, excuse me. If she puts an energy on this Pokemon, or gets a stadium or something. Alright, so we lucked out here. That was complete luck. Still not going to play the N, because it looks like my opponent's hurting. And I don't really feel the need to. So this Pokemon's gone. We're going to pick up 2 cards. We'll put this energy. We're going to put on the Mew, actually. Yeah, this is pretty good. The Mew can actually one-shot the Hoopa if I have an Yveltal on the bench. What is this here? Oh, another. Well, I can one-shot that too. But let's see what my opponent throws out. So 130. That's going to knock out everyone. The Sylveon's here. So let's get our. And again, I don't want to play. I don't want to play N. I don't feel the need to. So that's Abyssal Sleep Mega Gardevoir. We've been pretty lucky with the coin flips. I mean, 3 out of 4 chance is still pretty good, but still, eventually the luck runs out, and they do get to attack you back. My opponent healing, very good. Oh, she did have an N. Well, maybe she just got it. Although, it doesn't make sense because they would have used that fairy drop before. So let's see what happens. Let's see if my opponent has anything like a switch or a rope. Good. That's kind of when you want him to get the coin flip, right? All right. Let's think for a second. We've got a lot of Darkrai here. We can get Lysandre and be a little bit stuck. So. And now I see no point in not playing N because my opponent played. She played it there. I have not seen any experience share, which is kind of rare. I usually get buckets of them. I can retreat this one and attack with Darkrai here. I don't see any reason to, so. And you see, the Mew picked up the attacks from Yveltal. Oh no, there we go. All right, so I was just talking about always a chance that, and yeah, my opponent's going to retreat, and now they're going to use Sylveon's attack. So if you've seen my Sylveon EX deck, this is my opponent's using it to putting it to good use, I should say. I don't think that Lysandre helps her. She may play it anyway. Go after my Darkrai. That's fine. Going to retreat this Mega Gardevoir, almost certainly. Yep, and then heal him with the Sylveon. And it's a shame I did not have any of my experience share. So usually that would go on a couple of, all that energy would be saved. Oh, look at that. I didn't even get knocked out. So I want to, let's go after the Mega Gardevoir. Or should I try to go for experience share? Well, you know what? If I attack, this Pokemon's going to be asleep. That one can heal. But then I can knock out that one. So I'm not too concerned. I don't feel the need to play another Mew or another Darkrai. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's pretty much all the Pokemon I have. I'll let them stay in the deck. I don't want to get Lysandred and stuck. Still, no experience share. That is really hurting me. And I thought I had 4 in this deck. I still think I have 4 in this deck. All right. So there we go. So again, this is the kind of deck you want to face. You want to face these EX decks. You want to get 2 prizes. Oh, I just thought of I thought of something here. If I can switch out and put the Mew as my active, I can, when my opponent's asleep, I can use the Yveltal's attack. That does a little bit more damage. So my opponent's got good synergy here between her cards. This is a well thought out deck. A little bit better. All right, there's a Lysandre. So there you go. This is what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to get Lysandred. No, my opponent's not going to do that. I would Lysandre, maybe put this Darkrai as active. Still no experience share. There's none in here, right? I didn't get rid of any. All right. My opponent's active Pokemon's awake, but there we go. Right on cue, right? So I'm going to put this on this Darkrai. So if 1, 2, 3 die, this one will be fully powered up. I'm almost tempted to use this Ultra Ball to get these guys out of the way and just call another Yveltal. Excuse me, another Darkrai. Let's see. If I get rid of them, it's fine. Yeah, let's get another Darkrai here. And then we're going to play the Sycamore. 22 cards, so I feel like I'm not going to deck out. Alright, so I have an Energy Switch. I'm still shocked. Only 1 experience share. There's 2 energy here. I'm going to wait. If this Pokemon dies, I'll wait to put him back in my deck. I don't see any reason to swap out or do anything. So let's try to kill off the Sylveon. If we can kill off the Sylveon, I feel pretty confident. No, that I'm going to get one of these, and I'm not. So there you go. I mean, you know, you play with fire, and you're going to get burnt every now and then. All right, so we only restore 1 energy. Or maintain, I should say. I'm going to put the Mew as my active, because you can always retreat Mew for free. So if you have something with the Float Stone or something of that nature. All right, let's get Reverse Valley going. I don't really like my hand, but let's play. Let's get some energy back in the deck. I don't feel the need to use this experience switch at any point. So I'll play N. That'll hurt my opponent a little bit too. I mean, the good thing about this deck is I'm trading 2 for 1. Wow, that is interesting. All right. I almost should make the Mega Gardevoir the active Pokemon. Well, I can't now because I already played N. So we'll go with Abyssal Sleep again. Boy, I just exhaled there. All right, so we're one hit away from killing off the Sylveon, and then we just have this Mega Gardevoir or this Sylveon to deal with. So, all right, my opponent's going to play in on me, which is fine. I don't particularly like this hand. I'd like to do that too. That'd be another good study. Like, how many times do you play N where it hurts you? All right, there's the other experience share, which I'm happy to see. My opponent playing an Ultra Ball. Maybe she's going to pull out a Hoopa. Oh, Xerneas. Okay. So maybe try to stall me with the Xerneas or Xerneas break. All right, her Pokemon's awake. We're going to put this energy on this guy. And we're going to... There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Those should be our last Pokemon. I don't feel a need to play switch or anything. I should switch and let this Darkrai attack. Yeah, I'm going to switch. I want to keep this guy. It's a little more powerful. Let's knock out with the Darkrai here. All right, so we're one away. Unless, you know, unless my opponent, unless she plays the Yveltal, no, Xerneas, sorry. Well, there's our other experience share. So I may play that on the Yveltal. And again, you could see how the energy retention's here. I'm just going to try to keep all this energy in the game. I'm going to lost a little bit. Did I? Yep. All right, Stadium gone, but you know I like to win the Stadium War. In almost all my decks, I make sure I win the Stadium War because, you know, it's a good tool to have. That's interesting that she played the Mega Gardevoir. And I'm at a loss why this only did 90 damage. But I'll take it. We'll play our Stadium. We'll retain our energy. We're not going to do anything else. So let's just go. And honestly, I don't care if this Pokemon gets knocked out because it's sharing the energy. So it's part of the synergy. So my opponent looks like she's close to being done. Unless... Oh, there we go. Well, I have the Switch in my hand. I don't play a lot of decks with Switch, but I have it here. As long as she doesn't play N. Uh-oh. Lysandre. All right, she's pulling that out again. That's all right. We've got this. How many here? 80. So I'm going to switch to the Mew. I'm not even going to play anything else. We're going to play Dark Blade. That should do it. 100 damage. Yep, straight up. And we won. So game 1 to us. So hooray, Darkrai. And we're going to go to game 2 right after a short break. Welcome back to game 2. All right, I do not like to see green because green usually means small. We'll go with tails. But that first game was fun. Sylveon EX, totally underrated EX. One of the cheapest ones you can get, at least right now at the filming of this video. Super underrated. Get them before the price goes up because it is a good card. Actually, you know what? We'll make that our secret phrase for the for Darkrai. Sylveon EX. So if you're listening here, Sylveon EX. Be the first one to comment with that. Make sure you're the first one. The second one doesn't win anything. You'll get 4 Darkrai, the XY promos. And, of course, friend me in the game and make me the trade offer. Make sure you make something tradable. All right, let's see here. So this is not the kind of deck. So I went from a deck you want to see to a deck you don't want to see. I do not want to see this deck. Oh, it's a... Wow, this is going to be a mill deck. Which, of course, you know I love mill decks. But it's going to be kind of like a Vileplume, Bunnelby. Lots of mill action. I like my other hand better. Alright, so Acro Bike. So my opponent has some Acro Bike. See, I wouldn't put an Acro Bike in a Vileplume deck because then you get stuck later on in the game. If you have this in your hand, you get stuck with these. So you kind of have to adjust, but let's see. An unknown goes naturally with Vespa Queen. Alright, so my opponent has already... See, this is what I was talking about. You don't want your opponent to be ready to attack like first, second turn and do damage. And look, I have a Mew sitting here, so this is just even worse. If I get another Pokemon on my bench, I'm definitely going to put this Mew. Oof. On my bench and try to save it. Well, there goes Vileplume, so... There goes Experience Share. There goes Acro Bike. I'm in a little bit of trouble here. My opponent shouldn't have too many Pokemon in there, but nonetheless. We're going to, well, he's got the Floatstone on it, so it doesn't make any sense. I can just go up, put the Bunnelby as my opponent's active. I mean, I don't think I really have anything else to do here, so let's do that. I don't want him to attack with the Vespa Queen. Let's get some free shots. Maybe we'll get a prize card for the Bunnelby, and I'd rather not play the N either. Again, my opponent only has 3 cards too, so no, 2 cards. So if I don't have to, well, alright, the milling will begin, but this Bunnelby will be gone. And I can knock this Vileplume out. Usually it's hard with the Floatstone because you'd have to use 1 or 2 Lysandres or do 130 plus damage. But with the sleep will not allow my opponent to use the Floatstone. Alright, well I couldn't use the Ultra Ball anyway, so that's fine. I'm going to power up the Mew because I can use the Mew if I put a Darkrai on my bench. And I do not get a Darkrai, but the Mew could do the Darkness Blade attack. That won't do enough damage. I don't see a need to play my Stadium yet. I will do 10 more damage, but no, now's not the time. Let's save it for next turn where it'll really count. Alright, so we are in Item Lockdown, which is actually a really nice tactic in the last Standard, before the Standard changed to Primal Clash only. It was nice. There was Trevenant, there was Seismitoad. There's almost no... I mean, this is the only item lock, unless you're talking about Hoot Hoot. There's really not much item lock going down these days. We need to speed up. And you know what? We are going to play the Stadium now. We're going to play Lysandre. Sycamore. You're like, well, don't get rid of that energy. No, I want the energy there. Yveltal is going to put it right back on our Pokemon. Oh, still no Darkrai. Where are you, Darkrai? All these item cards. This is a little bit dangerous because Mew can get knocked out and I could be really hurting. I can't even play a V-Seeker to get my Lysandre out, or an N. Alright, so most likely they won't knock... Actually, she shouldn't... I'm saying she because last opponent was female. He shouldn't be able to... Yeah, did not knock me out, so that's pleasant. And if I put this here, it's going to do 80 damage. There's no way to really switch. Again, I want to... I don't care if all these cards go. I need to get a Darkrai on my bench. And another energy would be nice in my hand. And I don't get the energy. Great. So now, as long as my opponent doesn't Lysandre me, let's start getting... I'm down on cards. Alright, we're going to go with Darkrai here. I need a Lysandre in my hand as well. So I need a Lysandre. I mean, my opponent can easily make another Vileplume. They might have, obviously going to have more than a 1-1 line, 1-1-1 line of Vileplume. So let's see. All right, Vespiquen here and Yveltal going toe for toe. Vespiquen about to knock me out. My opponent's setting up another. Oh, that's interesting. Holding on to his Vespiquen. That is interesting. What do I have here? Do I have any energy? If I play another one, I'm going to be down to 16 cards, and all my experience share, all the reason to knock his Vileplume out will be gone for the most part. So I'm not going to play that. Let's see, wait, how many N do I have here? 2N. Although, you know what? I need the energy, so yeah, let's go for it. It's a little risky strategy here by myself. I'm not going to put another Darkrai out, because again, my opponent might mill me to death. Oops, what happened there? Ooh, what happened? Did I just, I thought I attacked. Oh, that's what happened. It was asking me to put an energy. So I have the ability to start knocking out, one-shotting their Vespiquens with my Mew, with this Darkrai. That's fine. They can build this up. Actually, this will get knocked out on this try. We'll put the energy on this Darkrai. I'm not going to play another card yet. I'm not going to play the N. So, alright. So we're up 2 cards here, which is okay. I mean, obviously, these Vespiquens are going to get stronger the more cards that go in here. But I bet my opponent's suffering from having a bunch of item cards in his hand. That's one of the tricks to playing a Vileplume deck these days. You can't... Oh, that's cute. So we're going to knock him out with Mew. And you know what? I know my opponent just picked up some cards, so we're going to... Should we make it a little more difficult? I have 12 energy stacks. 7 are out, so there's 5 left. Yeah, you know what? Let's make it a little more difficult here. That's fine, because they're going to drop cards too. Can't play Max Elixir. I'm going to play this other Mew on my bench. So we're just going to do Darkness Blade here. And if I can't attack next turn, I can always retreat. Woo! This is, see, I mean, playing Vileplume, I have a couple of ideas for Vileplume, but it's just so, it hurts you so much now. We really need, if they want to make item lock happen again, they need to change the standard a little bit. Give me some, give me a supporter that could put Vileplume back in my hand. You know, give me another card that does item lock in a different way. Maybe it has, like Trevenant did. But right now, item lock is just non-existent, just non-viable. So there you go. So my opponent has, what's this, 7 cards in his hand, and I'm guessing there are a bunch of item cards. Alright, so we're going to use our, yeah, we're going to use Darkrai. We're going to power up this Mew. Actually, we're going to power up Yveltal. And Yveltal will hopefully power up our Pokemon. So here we go. Abyssal Sleep. That's his last attacker. Unless he is able to throw down a Combi really quick. I have not seen my Lysandre. I had one, but where's the other one? Maybe I should have played an N before then, hoping that I would get one in my hand. I expect to see another Combi. No. Alright. So now it's all... We're gonna let this Mew. He's gonna probably be one-shotting everything soon anyway. So we are 1 card away. 1 prize card. Alright. If you're still with me, I'm gonna do a 4-4 giveaway. Secret giveaway. This Mew and this Yveltal. The secret phrase is gonna be Vileplume. Why not? Vileplume. So Go into the comments, be the first to type in Vileplume. You will get 4 Mew, 4 Yveltal, this Mew, this Yveltal. Be the first one to do it. You know, I'm going to play this first. I said I would do it before, so let me do it again. Yes, I know it'll give me fewer cards. Be the first one to comment with Vileplume, and you will get a 4/4 Mew and Yveltal. Friend me in the game. Only the first one wins. I did not want to see that. And, you know, offer me a trade. There you go. My opponent concedes, so secret phrase number 2 down. And we're going to go to, you know, we're just going to cut right. I think you have a good idea about this deck. I'm not going to belabor it anymore. You know, oh, yay, lots of trades. Ooh. Those will be new decks. I think you got a good idea of what this deck does. This Abyssal Sleep is really good against bigger cards. Yeah, we used it in the last game as well. Against Vespiquen and Vileplume, but you know, that wasn't a quick deck. You can see the Vileplume hurt my opponent, I think, more than hurt me. I would have been scared against a straight-up Vespiquen deck, but with Vileplume there, it slowed my opponent down. It looked like my opponent had lots of cards and nothing to do. So you know, this is good against big EX decks, which looks like to be all the rage. You can see Mew's value. Obviously, if you're playing against Garbodor, the shutting down the ability may make it tough, but you know, you can always knock out a Garbodor with Abyssal Sleep. Even with the Float Stone, it's going to be hard for your opponent to retreat that Garbodor and get it out of the active spot. Mew replicates all attacks. You saw me use the Darkness Blade, so that was a nice synergy there. The Max Elixir, accelerating energy. I think the Acro Bike came in handy a couple of times too. Experience share in that first game, sharing all that energy. It was pretty cool to see. You know, you see I have 12 energy and almost none of it ends up in the discard by the end of the game. Super Rod's a good late game to put some energy back in the deck, and if you only have, I think at that point I had like 15 cards in the deck, and you know, it was easy to just keep drawing energy after that and filling it up. So it looks like this putting the energy on this looks a little daunting. It looks a little hard, like, wow, 3 energy and I can't do double colorless or anything like that. But it's actually not that hard. You have the acceleration with Oblivion Wing, with Max Elixir, with Experience Share, you know, for mid to late game. It's even the Energy Switch, you know, helps you get that 3 energy on either Darkrai or Mew. Mew's versatility is good. You know, Mew's ability to knock Psychic Pokemon, although I was aiming at that Hoopa, we didn't get a chance to use it. I think you get a good idea of what this deck's about. So, again, you know, thanks for tuning in, and until next time.